pandemic is likened to a war. And this war has produced new warriors, our health workers and frontliners. In recognition of their contribution to the ongoing effort to save lives while keeping the economy going, we have chosen a commencement speaker who not only trained to be a frontliner, but elevated his capability through education and courage to help produce more health professionals that meet global standards. It is with excitement then that I would like to introduce our 2020 commencement speaker. He is a Bicolano, an Albayano. His story affirms that education is a great equalizer and key to get out of poverty. Let me use a quote to start his life story. Intelligence without ambition is like a bird without wings. Our commencement speaker comes from a modest family, with his mother raising him and his 5 siblings single-handedly as his father died when he was still very young. He is also an obedient son. He followed his mother, who told him to take up nursing, in spite that he wanted to be an architect or a journalist. Thus, while he enrolled in a nursing degree, he fulfilled his aspiration and actively participated in campus journalism. When he graduated in 1996 from Bicol University, he did not immediately take the board exam. He pursued another degree, which is journalism. But after 2 years, he again gave way to his mother's prodding and took the board and class. Circumstances, however, were not in his favor. It was not easy to look for a job during the late 1990s due to the oversupply of nurses in the country. Rather than switch to a new profession or be saddened by the lack of opportunities, he went into another pursuit and pursued graduate studies, a master's degree in education in 2001, in the same university as his baccalaureate degree. This gave him a chance to become a nurse faculty. In 2004, he began his new life in America. He started as a staff nurse at a local hospital while he pursued his master's degree in science in nursing and got that degree in 2007 at Xavier University in Cincinnati, Ohio. From there, he began his new journey as a nurse leader. In 2010, he worked as a patient services manager in Yale New Haven Hospital, where he managed operations, strategic planning, and business development of the behavioral intervention team. In 2012, he pursued further studies at Yale University, where he was one of the 14 inaugural doctoral students accepted to the Doctor of Nursing Practice program. He finished that degree in 2015. In the same year, he became the clinical nursing director at the Tufts Medical Center, where he assumed authority, responsibility, and accountability for the delivery of nursing services at a department level. He then became the director of the Credentials Evaluation at CGFNS International Incorporated, formerly the Commission on Graduates of Foreign Nursing School. He oversaw all credentials evaluation of foreign educated nurses applying for licensure in the United States. He was responsible for managing the global operation of this credentialing service program. Currently, he is the Director of Global Standards at CGFNS International. He is doing oversight of global standards and qualifications of nursing and other healthcare professions. He identifies, brainstorms, researches key issues in local, national, and international education realm. He develops programs, creates policies, and conducts researches that seeks to ensure equity, equality, and sustainability that will improve the global education landscape. He is a full-staff nurse executive with more than 20 years nursing experience in varied and progressive roles. He is an international expert in the topics of international nursing education, nursing mobility and migration, nursing curriculum evaluation. He is a nurse, a Fulbright scholar, a global researcher, an advocate for quality, standards, and humane workplaces. That is a lot of achievement, and he is just in midstream of life. He is still evolving, and currently he is pursuing his second doctorate degree at Columbia University. I would say then that his story can be summed up as mother knows best. One should be ready to take advantage of opportunities when it comes along, and believe in lifelong learning, and have faith that a Filipino, a Bicolano, has what it takes to be a global leader serving at the global stage in service of humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pride and honor to introduce Dr. Jasper Erwin Tolarba, the University of Nueva Caceres 2020 Commencement Speaker.
I'm deeply honored to be invited as the guest speaker during this momentous occasion of University of Nueva Caceres commencement exercises. Dr. Lea Raya, President of the University of Nueva Caceres, members of the Board of Regents, members of the faculty, non-teaching personnel, parents, graduates, friends. Delivering the commencement speech during this year's UNC graduation ceremony is indeed unique and interesting. Unique because this is the first time that this is held fully remote and online. Interesting because we don't know what to expect nor feel since we have never done something similar to this. But just like anything else, we can look at our situation as either a glass half full or a glass half empty. Let's also not forget that the last pandemic of this nature and gravity happened 100 years ago during the 1918 Spanish influenza pandemic. And during the time, there was no internet, there's no television, there's no mobile phones. So imagine yourself experiencing a global health crisis without the wonders of today's modern technology. That would be tough. Indeed, COVID-19 pandemic may have ruined our plans, our travels, our day-to-day comforts and convenience, and unfortunately, perhaps even lost people that we know. But it will never hamper our hope, stump our dreams, nor quest for better days ahead. Today's commencement exercises is a testament to that. COVID-19 cannot stop the 73 years of long tradition of celebrating its worthy graduates and the hard work of faculty and staff. That is why we're all here today amidst this pandemic. When President Tolarba reached out to me and asked if I would consider gracing this occasion, I've never given it any second thought. I have a very high regard and respect for Dr. Tolarba. I've seen her outstanding leadership and extraordinary abilities. For me, she epitomizes what I consider as a transformational leader, innovative, intelligent, motivating, and committed. Dr. Loraya told me that perhaps my life experiences could serve as an inspiration to others. After all, UNC is guided by the motto, none is scholastic vitae, or in plain language, not for school but for life, we learn. My hope is that through my own life experiences, I should share with you my life's lessons. This way, I could motivate you to pursue your goals and dreams as I have pursued mine, regardless of all the hurdles and hardships that life has faced me. You see, not very many people know that I come from a very humble beginning. However, I'm one who is not ashamed to admit that I was not born with a silver spoon. I don't think there was even a spoon to start with, if we're going to use that analogy. I grew up in a small nipa hut in the middle of a rice field of Ligao, but it was still a town of Tolarba. I have 7 siblings, 4 girls and 3 boys, with me being the youngest. My mom was a public school teacher, while my father, who is now deceased, was a stay-at-home dad after a bus accident where their bus fell off a ravine, causing him to become paraplegic from the waist down for the remainder of his life. So this left my mom to fend off for all our needs, and she became the sole breadwinner of the family. At an early age, I already realized that we were poor in material things. We didn't have any electricity, there's no television, and there's no fancy things that most people of today call as a necessity. However, we learned to improvise. We have a kerosene lamp when we study at night. We have a transistor radio for some entertainment, and intently listen to the adventures of Scimitar every night. And for young ones who do not know who Scimitar is, you better ask your parents who he was. Anyways, I vividly remember all these things like it was yesterday, because for me, those are good memories. Now, getting to school every day was also a challenge in itself. We would have to get up very early in the morning, usually at 5 a.m., allowing ample time to traverse the rice field by foot for about 30 minutes, and then catch a tricycle for another half an hour, in order to catch another jeepney for another half an hour. And at night after school, we would have to do the same ordeal. We have to get a jeepney, a tricycle, and then walk for half an hour just to get to the house. And walking in the middle of the dark in the rice field is not fun at all. If you're not careful, you will lose your slippers under the mud, or worse, fell off the giant, which happened to me a couple of times. I have done this daily routine of walking for my entire elementary years. Now, I'm not mentioning and sharing my stories of difficulties during my childhood to elicit pity, but rather to enlighten some people who may think that their 30 minutes ride or 30 minutes walk to school is too far or inconvenient. Life lesson number 1. Too much convenience kills a person's determination and resilience. The other thing that I would like to mention was that growing up being poor did not bring sad memories. In fact, I remember so much joy during my childhood. Rather than those hard times, it was all happiness that was retained in my mind. Even when all we had on the plate was a choice between a cup of rice or soy sauce or a cup of rice and coffee, it was not a big deal because at least we know we still have those 2 choices, and others may not. But my memories of childhood was the vast rice field where I could play with my kite or catch fireflies at night. But the best memory that I remember are the bonfires that I spent with my siblings and my parents every night. I hope you look back at your childhood also and find that happiness that really did not equate or had something to do with the financial or material things. The best thing in life are the ones that you spend with your own family, the people that you care. Life lesson number 2, being poor does not equate to being sad. Now in high school, my interests were in writing and technical drafting. So when I was about to apply for college, I told my mom that I would like to take up architecture. But my mom sat me down and said, Jasper, we don't have any money to buy all the material things in architecture. So you better take up nursing instead. So I complied, And I realized that my mom told me that because I had to recycle the things of my brother, who was in nursing school at the time already. So I had to recycle all the books, all the shoes, uniforms, pretty much everything. But while in college, I also continued what I was passionate about. I started to write for the school paper until I became the editor-in-chief of the university publication. My mom was also very thankful that I did because as an editor, I was having a 100% scholarship for my tuition, so I didn't have to pay for anything. And that was a relief for my mom. However, I remember missing so many clinical duties at the hospital because I was always either at the press conference or at press work. But I have no regrets because I have met so many amazing people and a lot of friends along the way. I'm sure that there are some of you here graduating today with a degree which probably was not your initial choice. But if you look back now, you'll realize that college or even graduate school is not about the academics, but the amazing people that you met and became close friends. You would never have met them if you stayed in your initial course. Life lesson number 3. The best part of the trip is not the destination, but the experiences that you share with people along the way. Anyways, after my graduation in college, I couldn't even get a job. There was just so much unemployment at the time for nurses because of the backlog of retrogression in the United States, as well as the conflict in the Middle East. So I decided I would try my luck in Manila, so I went there and I applied to almost every single job that I could find, only to find out that I was being turned down for every single one of them. So instead of just laying around doing nothing, I enrolled at Diliman and obtained my certificate in professional education in order for me to take the licensure exam for teachers, or NET. So my first real job was not as a nurse, but as a teacher in a Montessori school in Alabama. And I continued my education career, and I was able to teach at a private school, and then eventually in a public high school or DEP Ed. I went back to school and got my master's of arts in education, also at Beacon University. And after I completed my degree, I was able to be invited back by my own alma mater to teach at the College of Nursing. So for those of you who are graduating today with their master's degree or doctorate degree, let me assure you that those degrees will open up so many opportunities for you as if you don't mind. Now I look back at so many job denials that I had and how it guided me to where I am now. I realized that if I get accepted in the job that I applied for, I probably would not be where I am at the moment. So for those graduates who are starting to get those no's or sorry you're not chosen for this job, don't forget life lesson number 4. Rejections are opportunities that are camouflaged. Finally, in 2004, there was this ad in the national paper looking for nursing faculty to pursue a master's of science in nursing in the United States for a full scholarship. I applied and I was one of the 11 lucky scholars who got sent to the US. After obtaining my second master's degree in 2007, I decided I still wanted to continue teaching, so I became an adjunct professor at various universities in the United States. And at that point, I realized that I needed to get my doctorate degree, so I applied at Yale University, which is an Ivy League institution. Now let me tell you, I was almost 99% certain that I would not get into the program. And I'm saying that because the doctorate of nursing practice at the time was newly opened by Yale. And whoever's gonna be accepted are the pioneer graduates of the program. And there were only 12 slots open. They received hundreds of applications, and from that they trimmed it down to 50 applicants invited for interview. I was so ecstatic after I learned that I was part of those 50 who received the invitation for an interview. I went there and was very nervous because there was like 5 professors in a panel asking different questions. However, one question really stood out for me, and the panelists asked, "What do you think makes you stand out from other applicants vying for the spot here at Yale?" And my answer was heartfelt. I told them that I'm not only a nurse, but I'm also a writer. I told them that my experiences in college, being the editor-in-chief of the university paper and the press conferences I attended made me a well-rounded person. I even showed them a portfolio of all the published articles that I neatly kept in a binder. And they passed it around, and they were quite impressed. And the rest was history. I became Yale's 2015 inaugural class graduate of the GMP program with a specialization in health policy and leadership. And currently, I'm back in school for my second doctorate, and this time in nursing education at another Ivy League institution at Teachers College in Columbia University in New York. So for those graduating today, please know that there are no limits to your dreams. If you look back on yourself many years ago, you probably would not have thought that you were going to be here today. It seemed too impossible, right? But look at yourself now. You are graduating with a law degree, a doctorate, a master's, a bachelor's. You all should be very proud of yourself. That is certainly not a small feat. And that's my life lesson number 5. There's nothing wrong to dream big as long as you're willing to work hard for it. And finally, I want to conclude my message by sharing the most important lesson in life for me. In whatever success or accolades that I have received throughout my career, there's one common denominator in all of them: my teachers. I am not where I am today if not for my teachers. There's so many of them. I remember vividly my elementary teacher who called me to recite because somehow she could read my mind that I know the answer. I would not be where I am today if not for my high school teacher who had so many novels and literature to read so I could become a better writer. I would not be where I am today if not for my college professor who made me repeat clinical procedure over and over and instilled in me the notion that the life of people are in my hands, so therefore I need to do things correctly. I stand taller because my teachers put a pedestal underneath my feet. In case you ask me who my favorite teacher is, I actually have one. She was my home economics teacher in my second year of high school, and she taught our class how to bake, cook, cross-stitch, whatnot. She was tough as well. I remember I ended up having a arm cast for about 3 months because of a bad fall. But apparently that wasn't a good enough reason for her to ask me to submit all other requirements, because she said that I still can move my wrist and I can hold the needle, so I have to still do my cross stitching. I thought that was so unrealistic, and I wanted to complain to my mother, but only to realize that she's actually my mother and also my home economics teacher. So you will realize why my mother is my favorite teacher of all time. She raised single-handedly 7 of us, and we all became professionals. Nevertheless, you all should look back at your teachers, because without them, you would not achieve what you have achieved now. They will continue to cheer for you. And for those teachers who give you a hard time, trust me, deep inside, they do care for you. And finally, nothing will become possible without the help of your family, your friends, and your belief in God, however you perceive Him to be. They are your constants, your true north, your life's anchor. Don't lose them. Embrace them. Life lesson number 6, a grateful heart brings abundance, meaning, and direction. In conclusion, I would like to reiterate the 6 life lessons that you must not forget. First, too much convenience kills a person's determination and resilience. Second, being poor does not equate to being sad. Third, the best part of the trip is not the destination, but the experiences you share with people along the journey. Fourth, rejections are opportunities that are camouflaged. Fifth, there's nothing wrong to dream big as long as you're willing to work hard for it. And finally, a grateful heart brings abundance, meaning, and direction. I hope I was able to share with you my experiences, and hope that some of it resonate with you as you pursue your dreams and take your unique journey. Always remember, the journey is what is most important, rather than the destination itself. Don't forget to create memories. You savor it. You enjoy it. You are here because you have a purpose. Be blessed, and congratulations to each and every one of you.